Hello everyone, and welcome to this new little product I'm also going to be working on. It is, let's see here, well it's obviously a Game Boy Advance game. This little product I'm going to be working on is, as if we can see it, this is SpongeBob SuperSponge on Game Boy Advance. It was also on the PlayStation 1, but I've never played that version. I bought this version for like $3 one day, and it's an alright 3D platform. 2D platform. It'll be our Bikini Bottom, and today we'll be following one of my favorite sea creatures, SpongeBob's parents mentioned Bikini Bottom. Today, he's in search of the best Brother's Day present ever, his best friend Patrick. The question is, how far will he go for his best friend? Oh no, not you again. Just keep the noise down. What do you want? It's my best friend Patrick's birthday, and a signed photo of his favorite superheroes would be the best thing ever. Well, we are a bit busy right now. No rest for superheroes. Well, I know that Merryman might consider signing one for a superhero snack. Peanut butter, lettuce, jelly. Okay, so the premise of this game is out. It's Sunday today, SpongeBob and no Krusty Krab. While I'm busy here, why don't you use this net for jellyfish? Use R button to collect 10 jellyfish, use B button to launch them. You know, this could be the best day ever for me if you get as far away as possible. Well, aren't you the nicest person ever, Squidward? So, anyway, it's a simple 2D platformer. You can use a karate chop with B. You can press the R button to catch jellyfish when you have the jellyfish net, and press B to once again release them. These golden splashes are pretty much exactly as coins are in Mario, where if you get 100 of them, you get an extra life. Or maybe it's 50, I'm not sure. It's an alright 2D platformer for the Game Boy Advance. It's not too much. It's got pretty tight controls. It's got alright graphics for what it is, and you know, I think it does a pretty good job of using SpongeBob's license. I mean, I still like the 2D game, not the 3D games like Battle for Bikini Bottom or the movie game a little better, but this is still it's an alright game still, you know. It's pretty short too. This is only 3 parts actually. Some of the later levels do get a bit more difficult, but not that hard. In all honesty, most of the difficulty from this game comes from somewhat cheapness, as sad as to say. And as much as I don't like saying that. But the objective is to get through each level and collect a certain object. It's pretty simple. The PlayStation version is pretty much the same thing, only it's on a PlayStation. Got like, it's fully voice acted and from the TV show, and got like some clips from the TV show, I think. I'm not sure. They're basically similar in the same game and the look of things. Anyway, next level, Sandy's Treedome. Hold on there, little square dude. If you want to defend yourself, use your chomp. My Treedome is full of air. Splash in the pools and soak up water so you can keep yourself from drying up. Yeah. Anyway, Sandy's Treedome. I like how the password is CLMB, Klein. Yeah, this game uses passwords, but they're like 4 digits long, and they're only uppercase letters, so nothing to worry about there. I actually have a paper in my house somewhere. I wrote every password down, and I don't think it's ever different. I've got it somewhere, but I'm not sure. Anyway, the gimmick of this level is, since there's air here, you're gonna need to soak up in water pools occasionally while you're climbing up. I've actually heard of some guy who reviewed this game. He said he could not beat this level because the controls were stiff. I don't know what he was playing, but it wasn't this game because this game controls pretty good. I mean, maybe it's the GameCube controller, which I will admit makes the controls a bit more odd, but come on, I did it there in like less than a minute. Anyway, next level, Fishhooks Park. So anyway, it's not really too much different with this level other than they're the fish hooks. Yep, Fishhooks Park. That's kind of sort of the point of the title, don't you think? Anyway. There are several food items in this game which restore health. Although it's like the digits are like 100 and all that, it might as well be 10, 9, 8, 7 because that's really how health is. I mean, very rarely it goes into like 85, into like the 5th, 85, 75, 65, those digits. But like that barely ever happens for me, and I don't like those enemies because this game suffers from knockback. Yeah, so you can die. But there are checkpoints, though. They're just not, they're invisible, so it's not like you see them. Yeah, one thing about this game is there is some occasional dodgy hit detection where it doesn't look like something hit you, but it did. But, I mean, it doesn't happen that often, and when it does, it kind of makes sense. I don't know, we'll be seeing that in the second chapter, which is also in this video. There are 20 levels in this game, broken up into 5 sets of 4 chapters. It's a short game. When I recorded all this stuff, it was 45 minutes total, I believe. And I probably could do better, because again, this is my, like Kirby's Dream Land, this is my first time playing this game in a while, actually. And I guess the animation on SpongeBob is also pretty good, although the thing is, whenever he jumps, he's like, hit, hit, hit. It's kind of annoying. Not a huge fan of that, in all honesty, but the animation is pretty good for Game Boy Advance, I must admit. And the thing is, that voice clip, when he's like, hit, hit, that's not even SpongeBob. It doesn't even sound like SpongeBob, in all honesty. Yeah, like, you hear that? I mean, it's minor, but it's still there and annoying. Oh, and there's also a way to ground pound this game. I don't really use it that often. You do it by pressing the jump button again in midair. It's a bit odd, but, you know. The only real thing the L and R buttons do in this game is just for, like, the jellyfishing net and all that, and which, by the way, you can only use if you can, like, find it, I think, because some areas have it and some areas don't. And there are other such power-ups like that, but a lot of them are 1 or 2 levels only. The jellyfishing net is actually probably the most common, and, well, yeah, occasionally the jumps are a bit odd. A bit weird. This one's a bit annoying. What? You can fall and die. Yeah. Well, you can fall and die, but, yeah, you don't really need to bother most time, though. For the most part. Maybe one day I'll play the PlayStation version, but that's probably the better version from what I've seen, but, you know, this is the one I own. So, I might as well play the one I own. Even though, maybe I'll, like, get it on the emulator or something. I actually heard it did sell pretty well, but, oh, before we talk about that, the first boss, which is this mother jellyfish. You defeat it by catching jellyfish that spawn and throwing them at her. You know, if they're coming from the mother, doesn't that mean you're killing it with its children? Isn't that a bit gruesome? I mean, there are lots of times where, like, you kill something with its children in games I can think of, but it's still a gruesome concept. Catchy music, though. Yeah, this game, it's got an alright soundtrack. It's nothing major, but it's catchy enough for what it is. There's nothing really much else to say about the boss. The bosses aren't too impressive, but they're alright for what they are. And that's that. And now for chapter 2. Back already? That is definitely a sandwich fit for a superhero. Gonna need to think of something else to test your superhero potential, keep busy. Look, Murray Man is not in great superhero condition at the moment. He could really do with some help him in a facial, not for you understand. I'm on my way. SpongeBob, now listen, boy, I'm counting on you to use the sear coral blower to make your way around Bikini Bottom. Press an old R button to suction coral, release the R button to fire coral. Watch out for that scurvy Plankton, he's up to his old tricks again. Plankton is not even in this game. But for some reason, apparently finding stuff for a makeover is leading us underground. Anyway. This is actually an interesting trick about these stalagmites, where the thing is, you can, like, take damage from them once, and you will be bounced. The thing is, you can actually just, if you keep landing in them over and over again, and not a platform, then you won't take any more damage, because you'll still have invincibility frames, and you'll just bounce and skip everything. It's pretty convenient, and this is the reef blower. It makes this is actually its only appearance in the game, I actually think. Yeah. It's alright, but not very good because you can't karate chop with it. And I actually would recommend switching to the jellyfish net right here. Oh yeah, you can kill the jellyfish also, I guess. And I'm just gonna keep this because normally I'd keep the jellyfish net, but, you know, this is only its appearance. The reef blower's only appearance, so for some reason they called it the coral blower. It's the reef blower. Yeah, so you can't really do anything to this guy, so you except, and I don't think you can do ground pound either. And these electric eels, you can't really do anything to it either. Oh yeah, this is another part we can use that glitch. So you just jump into it, because of the invincibility frames, I'm not taking any more damage, and I'm just bouncing. Pretty cool. And that's the end of this level. Now for thermal tunnels. Hey SpongeBob, I got an extra balloon for my birthday. You want it? Ooh, you're floating away. Hey, where'd my balloon go? SpongeBob! Is my Patrick voice good? I've been watching the show for years. I could probably do decent voices for the cast if I wanted. Because back in elementary school, I was the biggest SpongeBob nerd ever, and to this day, my friends will tell you that. I was a huge SpongeBob nerd. Yeah. And there's also, like, to demonstrate that, like, around 6th grade, a lot of people were getting into this quiz website called Sporkle, or something like that, which is basically, like, it's got a bunch of quizzes about random knowledge, like, name all the countries of the world, name the top 200 Harry Potter characters mentioned by name, stuff like that. And I actually remember I used to do a lot of SpongeBob ones just to prove my nerdery, and there's actually one of these called Quiz for Major SpongeBob Fans Only. And I think and there was some really hard questions, like name the robot from that one episode, which I forget, Dungeons and Dragons, I believe it was, I'm not sure. It was, and like, name, and the last one was hard, so I was like, name SpongeBob's entire speech in imitation crabs, where he's testing plankton and crabs to see which one is real. It's like if we were discussing blah 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 on the third Wednesday of something, I can't mention it now, but, you know, maybe I could have, but I couldn't do it back then. You know, that kind of proves how much I was SpongeBob nerd, because there was stuff like, it's been so long ago, but yeah, I was once a huge SpongeBob nerd. I'm not that big on SpongeBob Today, the TV show, but you know, if it's on, I'll watch it no problem. You know, not the biggest fan, but you know, I'll watch it if you know, not much else on to watch, and I feel like it. And I don't know why you can't ground pound those electric eels. It's annoying. There's nothing really much up here, though. And I actually might have been mistaken about the golden spatulas. I actually think it was 50 instead of 100 of them. We'll have to see. Don't like these mines, so you have to wait for them to explode. And they can set off chain reactions. And I think the same principle I said about the spikes applies to lava, too. Alright, air pockets. If I remember correctly, yeah, a lot of these levels, actually, don't be fooled by these two levels, because actually lots of levels in this game, they're very different from each other. Like, this is one of the very few recycled level themes out there, because lots of other levels, like I believe in Chapter 5 and Chapter 3, each level looks different. I can't say that for sure, but like in Chapter 1, all the levels look different. You know. And just to give you an idea, this first video is Chapters 1 and 2, the second video is Chapters 3 and 4, and the final video is Chapter 5, finale. That section kind of threw me off there. The balloon, it just makes you float down slower. There's not really much to explain. It's automatic, though, so you don't control it. And those blob things, I don't know what they do. They're just there. And we're at the end of the level. Lava fields. This is the last level, and it's a bit annoying, but not that bad. And I'm fairly certain there are easier ways to get false teeth. Just saying, SpongeBob. You don't have to go underground. And I don't know what that has to do with a makeover, but... or a facial. I don't even know what a facial is. That's something Beverly Hills rich kids want to do when they come of age. Now, no offense to people who actually get facials and are not those people. Although I do remember I once saw this commercial for this show called Beverly Hills Nannies, where apparently there were nannies who babysitted kids in Beverly Hills. And like, I remember two distinct lines from that commercial. One is, you're supposed to clean the duck poop, don't ask. And another one was, like, a little girl, like maybe 5, was yelling at the nanny, "Let me get a facial!" Yeah. It probably was a weird show. And I should probably stop talking about it. This is an annoying part because the fire, it kind of has odd hit detection, and you're gonna, yeah, look at that, I was nowhere near it, and it knocked me off. Because of the knockback and the controls, which, they're not perfect, but I think they're good enough. They're not precise, though. It can be an annoying part, but, you know, it's not that hard. It's still pretty easy. You know. Good. Or you could jump too early like I did. I'm pretty sure that one was my fault. Anyway. I'm tempted to rewind that to see if it was 40, but it probably was 40 and 50. And I think we should be coming up on the boss real soon. Be careful with these enemies. Alright, now we come to the boss, which is this fish thing. I'm not sure if it has a name. These things all probably have names. I'll probably have names, but how you beat this guy, it's not really that hard. After he does one of these phases, he'll then charge at you, and when his mouth is open when he's charging at you, then karate chop him in the face, and you'll do damage to him. You can tell him bit careless at first, and he'll occasionally fly above you and drop these barrels, or he'll go under you and shoot torpedoes up. And yeah, there's not really much else to say about this boss. It's pretty easy. Could potentially give you trouble, but once you get its pattern down, it's really easy. It's only the third boss, which I think is the most hardest. We'll get to that one later. I hate that boss a lot. And there we go, we're done. And that's the end of this part. I'll see you guys later.